Cousin, we need to talk about your DNA test. Get out. You're not a park. The test proved it, which means legally, I inherit everything, unless you can prove who you really are in the next 72 hours. You're lying. Mr. Kang, you're not authorized in this wing. Leave, now. Administrator Mark, I was just visiting my your former cousin, since you clearly know he's not blood, which makes this harassment of a dying patient. Security. Interesting. You show up the moment I mention the DNA, almost like you know something. We should talk, privately, about what you're protecting and what it's worth to you. I protect patient confidentiality. That's worth everything. Now get out before I have you arrested. You do know something, don't you? About who I am? About why the DNA doesn't match? Please, I'm dying. I need the truth. Then I'll give it to you. Who the hell are you? I'm Eunice Sarah. I'm dying of cancer. I have 3 months. And I'm your biological mother, the woman who gave birth to you 20 years ago, who gave you up so you could be a king, and the only person on this planet who can save your life with a kidney transplant if you're brave enough to hear the truth. She's insane. Tell me she's lying. She's not lying. My mother was the night nurse 20 years ago. She switched you with the dying legitimate heir to save your life. You're not a Park Jin-woo. You never were. Everything you know about yourself is a lie created to keep you alive. You have 72 hours to decide, Jin-woo. Accept the transplant from me, accept the truth, live as my son, or refuse it, die as a Park, and let him, gesturing toward where Siwon left, take everything anyway. Either way, the lie is over. Choose. Not here, not now. He just found out his entire life is a lie. Give him time to process before you demand choices. To you, outside, now, we talk first. You're just like your mother, strong, unbreakable, good. Who am I? 20 years ago, my mother played God with 2 babies. One lived, one died. Today, I decide if the truth saves him or destroys him, and I won't let anyone, not his dying birth mother, not his ambitious cousin, not even him, make that choice for me. This is my inheritance, my burden, my power, and I'm done being afraid of it. Hi besties, welcome to Black and Korean Chronicles. Eunice, the Black Night Nurse. She's not the victim, she's the kingmaker, the only person who knows the whole truth, and she's about to weaponize it. Please, tell us in the comment section where you're watching from, and hit that subscribe button now, because when a woman stops protecting secrets and starts using them, empires fall, and she's just getting started. Now, let's dive in. Eunice didn't wait for Sierra to follow. She walked with purpose, heels clicking like gunshots on polished floors, to the private conference room on the executive level, the one with soundproofing and no cameras, the one where hospital board members made decisions that could end careers. She held the door open. Sierra entered, oxygen tank wheeling softly behind her. Eunice closed the door, locked it, turned. "You don't get to ambush my patient," she said, voice low and lethal. "You don't get to walk into my hospital and detonate a truth bomb without consulting me first. This isn't your story to tell anymore. My mother made the choice. I inherited the consequences. That makes me the authority here, not you." Sarah sat slowly, gracefully, like a queen at a disadvantaged negotiating table. "Your mother and I had an agreement. When the time was right, we'd tell him together. She died before we could, so I came to you, her daughter, to honor that agreement. You came to me because you're dying and you want redemption before you go," Eunice corrected, sitting across from her. "You want to ease your guilt by giving him truth and calling it a gift. But truth isn't always a gift, Miss Yoon. Sometimes it's a weapon, and you just armed my patient's cousin, Kang Siwon, with the information he needs to take everything from Jin Woo. You didn't free him, you put a target on his back." Sira's eyes flickered with something sharp. Siwon already knew, or strongly suspected. He's been investigating for months, hired private detectives, pulled hospital records. It was only a matter of time before he pieced it together. "Then you should have come to me first," Eunice snapped. "Let me control the narrative, manage the exposure, protect Jinwoo legally and medically before throwing him into a succession war he doesn't even know is happening." "Control," Sira repeated softly. "That's what this is about for you, not truth. Control. You want to be the one who decides when, how, and why. Just like your mother. She controlled the truth for 20 years. Look where that got her." The implication hung heavy, dead in a car accident that maybe wasn't an accident. Eunice leaned forward, eyes cold. "My mother saved your son's life. She committed medical fraud, falsified records, and carried that guilt until it killed her. Yes, I believe the stress contributed to her accident. She did that for you, for him, and you repay her by questioning my authority to finish what she started. I'm the one who's been protecting this secret while you lived quietly in Jeju Island, spending your guilty conscience on luxury. Don't you dare lecture me about control." Sira met her eyes without flinching. "I gave up my son so he could have a life I couldn't provide. That's not guilt, that's sacrifice. And your mother understood that. She told me, the last time we spoke, 6 months before she died, she told me, Eunice will know what to do when the time comes. She's stronger than both of us. Trust her. So I'm here, trusting you, but trust doesn't mean surrender. I'm his mother. I get a say. You gave up that say 20 years ago when you handed him over. And I'm taking it back now because he's dying. My genetics are killing him, my kidney disease, and I'm the only match. That gives me rights, medical, ethical, maternal." Eunice stood, paced to the window overlooking Seoul's nightscape. The city glittered, billions of lights hiding billions of secrets. "Here's what's going to happen," she said, voice even and commanding. "I'm going to verify your transplant compatibility independently, run every test, make sure you're not lying or delusional. If you're truly a match, we'll create a medical plan that protects Jinwoo legally before we proceed. That means locked medical records, NDAs for everyone involved, legal documentation that shields him from Siwon's inheritance challenge. And if Siwon goes public before we're ready, then I destroy him," Eunice said simply, turning to face Sira. "I have access to Park Industries' employee records, medical histories, financial disclosures. If Kang Siwon wants to play dirty, I'll bury him in HIPAA violations and corporate espionage charges before he can say inheritance challenge. I don't lose, Miss Yoon. I didn't become the youngest hospital administrator in Seoul's history by being soft." Sira's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "You really are your mother's daughter." "No," Eunice corrected. "I'm better. My mother made choices out of compassion and guilt. I make them out of strategy and power. Compassion is weakness in this world. Power is protection. And right now, Jinwoo needs power more than he needs truth. Is if the truth could save his life? Especially then, because a life saved but destroyed isn't salvation, it's cruelty." Eunice sat back down, leaning forward, eyes locked at Sira's. "You want to give him your kidney and tell him you're his mother, fine, but we do it my way, on my timeline, with my protections in place. You don't get to martyr yourself and leave me to clean up the carnage. Understood?" Sira studied her for a long moment, then extended her hand across the table. "Understood. Partners, for his sake." Eunice shook her hand, firm, equal, 2 women who'd spent years in different kinds of cages, Sira in regret, Eunice in secrets, now allied. "One more thing," Eunice said, not releasing Sira's hand. "Han Min-ji, the woman who raised him, she doesn't know yet, does she?" "No, but she suspects. A mother always knows when something's wrong with her child, even if that child isn't biologically hers. She's offered to donate part of her kidney, partial match, could buy him 6 months while we search for alternatives. She's willing to risk her life for him. Eunice's grip tightened slightly. If you take that away from her, if you replace her sacrifice with yours, you don't just take his identity, you take her purpose, her proof that she's his real mother. Think about that before you play the biological card. Sierra's eyes softened. I never wanted to replace him. I wanted him to have her. That's why I gave him up. I just wanted him to know I exist, that I didn't abandon him because I didn't love him. I did it because I loved him.
Then tell him that, without the kidney, without the transplant leverage. Just tell him, I'm your biological mother. I gave you up out of love, and I'm dying. I wanted you to know before I go. Let him process that separately from the medical crisis. Don't weaponize your death and his survival into an identity ultimatum. But he needs a kidney, yes, and we'll find one. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone else, but we separate the emotional from the medical. That's how we protect him. That's how we do this without destroying him. Sarah withdrew her hand slowly. You're asking me to give him truth without solutions, to open a wound I can't heal. I'm asking you to be honest without being manipulative, Eunice countered. There's a difference. Jinwoo's hospital suite, 1:34 a.m. Eunice knocked softly before entering. Jinwoo was awake, staring at the ceiling, IV drip steady in his arm. Can't sleep? She asked gently, closing the door behind her. Can you sleep knowing your entire life is a lie? His voice was hollow, not angry, just empty. Eunice pulled a chair beside his bed, sat. Professional distance collapsed into something more human. No, I admitted. I haven't slept well in 20 years, since my mother told me what she did, since I became the keeper of the secret that defines you. Why didn't you tell me, before tonight, before I was dying? Why let me live a lie? Because the lie kept you safe. The truth makes you a target. Siwon, your cousin, he's been circling for months, waiting for proof. If I'd told you a year ago, 2 years ago, before you were sick, before there was a succession crisis, he would have destroyed you legally while you were still healthy enough to fight. Now you're dying, vulnerable. He smells blood. The truth doesn't save you anymore. It arms your enemies. Jinwoo turned his head to look at her. Really look. Who are you, really? Not Administrator Mark. Who are you to me in all this? The daughter of the woman who saved your life by lying about it. The person who's been watching you from a distance for 2 decades, knowing I held your entire identity in my hands. The only person in this hospital who knows the whole truth and has no agenda except keeping you alive and whole. I'm not your family. I'm not your doctor. I'm your guardian of secrets, and I'm tired of it. Then tell me everything. No more protection, no more strategy, just truth. I'm dying. I deserve that much. Eunice took a breath, then began. 20 years ago, my mother, Eunice Mark, was the night nurse when you were born. 2 babies, born the same night, same hospital. One baby was the legitimate heir, son of Chairman Park and his wife, Han Min-ji. That baby was dying, premature, respiratory distress, not expected to survive. The other baby, son of Chairman Park and his mistress, Yoon Sarah, was healthy, perfect, crying, alive. She paused, letting him absorb. And my mother looked at both babies and made a choice. She switched them. The dying legitimate baby died a few hours later, buried as the mistress's son, stillborn. The healthy mistress's baby lived, raised as the legitimate heir. That baby is you. You're Yoon Sarah's biological son, but you were raised as Han Min-ji's son. Everything you know about yourself is a constructed identity to save your life. Jinwoo's breathing quickened. And my Han Min-ji? Does she know? I don't think so, not for certain, but mothers know things. She might suspect, but she's loved you as hers for 20 years. Blood doesn't make family, choice does. She chose you every day. And Sarah, the woman who showed up tonight, what does she want? To save your life with a kidney transplant, to tell you she's your biological mother, to give you 50 billion won and a new identity away from the Park Empire. She calls it freedom. I call it another cage, just a different shape. And you? What do you want? Eunice met his eyes. I want you to survive. I want the secret my mother died protecting to mean something. I want to stop carrying this alone, and I want you to have a choice. Real choice, not coerced by death or guilt or manipulation. That's what I want. What would you choose if you were me? I'm not you. I can't. What would you choose? Not a question, a demand. Eunice exhaled slowly. I'd choose life, whatever that costs. Identity can be rebuilt. Death is permanent. But I'd also make damn sure I controlled the narrative. I wouldn't let Sarah or Siwon or anyone else write my story. I'd take the transplant, take the truth, and then I'd decide who I wanted to be with that information. Not Park Jin-woo, not Yoon Jin-woo, just Jin-woo, whoever the hell that is. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, will you help me through this? I don't trust Sarah. I can't trust Min-ji without breaking her heart. Siwon wants me dead or disgraced. You're the only person with no agenda except keeping me alive and whole. Will you help me navigate this? Eunice shouldn't. Should maintain professional distance. Should refer him to legal, to counseling, to someone not carrying 20 years of inherited guilt. But she nodded. Yes, I'll help you. But you follow my lead, you trust my strategy, and you don't make any decisions without consulting me first. Deal? Deal. They shook hands. His grip was weak but determined. A knock at the door. Eunice opened it. Han Min-ji stood there, Jinwoo's mother, the woman who raised him, elegant even at 1 a.m., eyes red from crying. I need to speak with my son, alone, please. Eunice looked back at Jinwoo. He nodded. She left them, but through the door she heard Minji's voice, breaking. I know you're not mine. I've always known. But you're still my son, and I'm still your mother, and I'm not letting you go. Not to her, not to anyone. You're mine. Do you understand? Mine. Eunice leaned against the wall outside. This wasn't just about truth anymore. This was about possession, love as ownership, and the dark romance of a mother who'd raised a lie and would kill to keep it. Eunice's phone exploded with texts at 3:47 a.m. Unknown number. Administrator Mark, this is Han Min-ji. We need to meet immediately. I'm sending a car to your apartment. Don't refuse. We have much to discuss about my son's future. HM. 20 minutes later, Eunice sat in the back of a Mercedes S-Class being driven through empty Seoul streets to an address that made her pause. Han Min-ji's private penthouse, not the Park family estate, her personal residence. The message was clear. This conversation was off the record. The penthouse occupied the top 3 floors of a Gangnam high-rise, floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking the Han River. Minimalist Korean luxury, all clean lines, expensive art, and the kind of silence that only serious wealth could buy. Han Min-ji waited in the living room, wearing a silk robe that probably cost more than Eunice's monthly salary. Her hair was down, the first time Eunice had ever seen her without the perfect updo. She looked younger, vulnerable, dangerous. Sit, Min-ji said. Not quite a command, not quite a request. Eunice sat on the white leather sofa, maintained eye contact, refused to be intimidated in a room designed to intimidate. Your mother was Adana Mark, night nurse, 20 years ago.
the woman who switched my dying son with that mistress's healthy baby. Eunice's blood chilled. You knew? A mother knows when the child in her arms isn't the child from her womb. The baby I gave birth to had a birthmark, small, shaped like a crescent moon, right shoulder blade. The baby I took home 3 days later, no birthmark, different cry, different smell, but alive, healthy, mine. You knew from the beginning, Eunice whispered, and you said nothing. What was I supposed to say? That I wanted the switch? That I begged God to let me keep the healthy baby instead of burying my own? Your mother gave me a gift, a son who lived. I wasn't going to question it. I wasn't going to ruin it. I just loved him, raised him, made him mine through choice instead of blood. Does anyone else know? The chairman, before he died, did he know? My husband? My husband had 3 mistresses, 4 illegitimate children, and the emotional capacity of a corporate acquisition. He didn't notice his own son, much less scrutinize his genetics. He got an heir. That's all he cared about. Boy, healthy, legitimate on paper. Mission accomplished. Then why now? Eunice leaned forward. Why are you telling me this now? Why not just keep the secret like you have for 20 years? Because Sarah is dying, and she wants to take my son from me before she goes. She thinks donating a kidney gives her rights, that biology trumps 2 decades of motherhood. She's wrong, and I need you to help me prove it. I'm not helping you manipulate. I'm not asking you to protect. Minji set down her glass with deliberate control. Sarah wants to transplant her kidney and tell Jinwoo he's her real mother. Fine, let her transplant, save his life. I want him to live. But the truth, the identity crisis, the 50 billion won and the new name and the freedom she's selling, that destroys him, and I won't allow it. You can't control what he chooses to do with the information. Can I? Minji stood, walked to the window, silhouetted framed against Seoul's glittering skyline. I have legal custody. He's 20, yes, but he's medically incapacitated, dying. I'm his legal guardian for all medical decisions until he recovers. I can refuse Sarah's transplant. I can block her access. I can make sure he never knows she exists. That's not protection, that's imprisonment. It's love. Minji turned, and her eyes were blazing. I didn't carry him for 9 months, but I carried him for 20 years. Every scraped knee, every nightmare, every triumph, every failure, I was there. She gave birth and walked away. Biology is an accident. Motherhood is a choice I made every day. Don't dare tell me I'm imprisoning him by protecting him from a woman who wants to upend his entire identity for her own deathbed redemption. Eunice stood slowly. What do you want from me? I want you to convince Sarah to donate the kidney anonymously. Living donor, no contact with Jinwoo, no truth bomb. Just save his life and disappear. I'll make sure she's compensated. 50 billion won, enough to die comfortably, but she doesn't get to play mother. That role is taken.
She'll never agree to that. Then make her. Minji stepped closer, voice dropping to something lethal. You're the hospital administrator. You control access, medical records, patient visitation. You can make Sarah invisible. You can bury the truth the same way your mother did 20 years ago. And if you do, if you help me keep my son, I'll make sure your mother's legacy is protected. No investigations into the switch, no malpractice lawsuits against her estate, no questions about whether her car accident was really an accident. The threat was crystal clear. Eunice's hands clenched. Are you confessing to murdering my mother? I'm confessing to having the resources to investigate her very thoroughly if you become a problem, Minji corrected smoothly. Your mother did me a favor 20 years ago. I'd like to return it by leaving her memory untarnished. But if you side with Sarah, if you help that woman steal my son, I'll make sure everyone knows what Eunice Mark did. Medical fraud, falsified records, criminal conspiracy. Your career ends, her legacy dies, and you lose everything, just like I'd lose everything if Jinwoo learns the truth. You're blackmailing me. I'm negotiating, there's a difference. Minji's smile was cold. You're a smart woman, Administrator Mark. Ambitious, young, you have a bright future. Don't throw it away for a dying mistress's guilty conscience. Help me protect my son. Keep the secret. Let Sarah donate and disappear. Everyone wins. Except the truth. The truth is overrated. Survival is what matters. And right now, Jinwoo survives if the women in his life stop fighting over him and start protecting him. You, me, even Sarah, if she's smart enough to accept the deal. We all want him alive. Let's make that the priority. Not truth, not justice. Life. Eunice wanted to refuse, wanted to tell Minji to go to hell, but the threat against her mother's legacy was real, and the logic was sound. Jinwoo needed a kidney, not an identity crisis. I'll talk to Sarah, Eunice said carefully. Present your offer, but I won't force her, and I won't lie to Jinwoo if he directly asks me questions. Those are my terms. Acceptable. Minji extended her hand. Partners, for his sake. Eunice shook it, but the grip felt like a trap closing. Sarah's hotel, Jeju Island, 11:23 a.m. Eunice took the first flight back to Jeju, found Sarah in her hotel suite, weaker than 2 days ago. The cancer was accelerating. Minji knows, Eunice said without preamble. She's known for 20 years, and she's not letting you take Jinwoo. She's offering you 10 billion won to donate anonymously and disappear. Sarah's laugh was weak but genuine. Of course she knows. Of course she's threatening you. That woman has claws hidden under silk gloves. Always has. Are you going to accept the offer? Absolutely not. Sarah's eyes were fierce despite her failing body. I'm not donating anonymously. I'm not dying without my son knowing I exist. Minji had 20 years. I get this. My last months. My last chance. She doesn't get to steal that from me. She'll block the transplant. She has legal authority as his guardian. Then we get Jinwoo to override her. He's 20, legally an adult, medically incapacitated, yes, but conscious, capable of making decisions. If he wants the transplant from me, if he wants to know his biological mother before she dies, Minji can't stop it. We just need him to choose. You're asking a dying man to choose between his mothers. I'm asking him to choose life with truth over death with lies. That's not manipulation. That's giving him agency. Leaning forward, oxygen tank hissing softly. Eunice, you're the only person he trusts right now. You're the neutral party. If you tell him the truth, all of it, including Minji's blackmail and my offer, and his biological reality, he'll make the right choice. I know he will. And if he chooses Minji, chooses to stay Park Jinwoo and die rather than become Yoon Jinwoo and live, then I respect that. I donate anyway, anonymously, like Minji wants, save his life even if he rejects me, because that's what mothers do. We sacrifice, even when it destroys us. You studied her. You really love him. I gave birth to him, then I gave him up, then I spent 20 years watching from a distance as another woman raised him. Love doesn't cover what I feel. It's deeper than love. It's ache, permanent, cellular. He's mine and not mine, and I'm dying without ever having held him as my son. So yes, I love him, enough to let him choose, even if he chooses her. Minji won't let it be that simple. If Jinwoo chooses you, she'll fight. Legally, medically, emotionally. She'll make his life hell. Let her. He's stronger than she thinks. Stronger than I think. Maybe strong enough to survive the truth. Sarah's smile was sad.
Or maybe he breaks, maybe the truth kills him faster than the kidney disease, but at least he dies knowing who he really is. That's worth something, isn't it? Eunice didn't answer, because she didn't know. Hospital, Jinwoo's suite, 8:45 p.m. Eunice found Jinwoo alone. Minji had left hours ago. Sarah was still in Jeju. Siwon was circling but keeping distance. For the first time in days, it was just them. "I've been thinking," Jinwoo said as Eunice entered. He looked better, probably from fluids and meds, but still fragile. "About what you said, about choosing life whatever the cost. I think I know what I want to do." "Tell me." "I want the transplant from Sarah. I want to know my biological mother before she dies. I want the truth, even if it destroys everything I thought I was." Paused, looking at her directly. "But I also want Minji to know she's still my mother, the one who raised me, the one that counts. I don't want to choose between them. I want both. Is that possible?"
In theory, yes. In reality, Minji's threatened to block the transplant if Sarah contacts you. Sarah's refusing to donate anonymously. They're at war, and you're the territory they're fighting over. Then I take myself off the battlefield. Jinwoo sat up straighter, determination replacing weakness. I'm an adult. I can make my own medical decisions. I consent to Sarah's transplant. I consent to meeting her as my biological mother. And I tell Minji directly, this doesn't erase her. It just adds to my story. She raised me. Sarah gave birth to me. Both are true. Both matter. She doesn't lose me by sharing me. She won't see it that way. Then she needs to learn, because I'm done being possessed by her, by the park name, by this dying heir narrative. I'm Jinwoo. That's all I know for sure right now, and I get to decide what that means. Not her, not Sarah, me. Eunice felt something loosen in her chest. Pride, maybe, or relief. You're braver than I thought. I'm dying. What's bravery got to do with it? I'm just tired of being afraid. He reached for her hand, held it. His grip was weak but warm. Will you help me tell them, both of them, that this is my choice, not theirs? Yes, but Jinwoo, there's something else. Something you need to know before you decide. What? Minji knows. She's known for 20 years that you're not her biological son. She chose to love you anyway, every day. That's not possession, that's choice. The same choice you're asking her to give you now. Remember that when you talk to her. She's not the villain. She's just terrified of losing you. Jinwoo's eyes widened. She knew? This whole time? Yes, and she kept the secret to protect you, the same way my mother did, the same way I have. We've all been protecting you from the truth because we thought the truth would destroy you. But maybe we were wrong. Maybe you're strong enough. Prove us wrong. He pulled Eunice closer, his other hand coming up to cup her face. The touch was intimate, unexpected. "Thank you," he whispered, "for telling me, for trusting me, for seeing me as strong instead of fragile." Eunice should pull back, should maintain professional distance, should not be this close to a patient who was looking at her like she was the only solid thing in his dissolving world. But she didn't move. "You're welcome," she whispered back. The door opened. Both of them jerked apart. Minji stood in the doorway, face unreadable, eyes on Eunice's hand still in Jinwoo's. "How touching, the administrator comforting my son. Should I be concerned about professional boundaries, Miss Mark, or is this part of your strategy to help him navigate his crisis?" "Mrs. Han, we were just... I know what you were doing, building trust, creating intimacy, making yourself indispensable. Very clever. But let me be clear, my son doesn't need another woman trying to claim him. He has me, he has Sarah circling. He doesn't need you adding to the confusion." "Mom," Jinwoo started. "Don't mom me. I know what you're planning. The transplant from Sarah, the truth reveal, the identity crisis. And I'm telling you now, I won't allow it. You're not strong enough. The shock could kill you faster than the kidney disease." "That's not your decision to make," Jinwoo said quietly. "I'm an adult. I consent to the transplant. I consent to the truth. And you can either support me or fight me, but you can't stop me."
Minji's face went white, then red, then something cold and dangerous. "Can't I?" She turned to Eunice. "Administrator Mark, I'm formally requesting Sarah Yoon be banned from this hospital. Patient safety concern. She's unstable, making false claims about biological relationships, harassing my son during a medical crisis. I want a restraining order, effective immediately. You can't." "You can, and I am, unless you want me to escalate this to the hospital board, question your mother's actions 20 years ago, investigate the switch, drag everything into the light, including your complicity in hiding it." Minji's smile was poison. "Choose carefully, Miss Mark. Your career, your mother's legacy, my son's life. What matters most to you?" Eunice felt the trap snap shut. Jinwoo looked between them, understanding dawning. "You're blackmailing her. Jesus Christ, Mom, you're blackmailing her to keep me ignorant." "I'm protecting you," Minji said simply, "from yourself, from that woman, from the truth that will kill you. That's what mothers do. We protect, even when our children hate us for it, even when we have to become monsters. I became a monster to keep you alive as a baby. I'll become one again to keep you alive now." She turned and left. Silence crashed down. Jinwoo looked at Eunice. "What are you going to do?" Eunice closed her eyes, took a breath, opened them. "I'm going to do what my mother should have done 20 years ago. I'm going to stop protecting secrets and start protecting people, starting with you." She pulled out her phone, dialed Sarah. "Miss Yoon, it's Eunice Mark. Get on the next flight to Seoul. We're doing the transplant, with or without Minji's permission. It's time to end this." She hung up, looked at Jinwoo. "This is going to get ugly. Minji will fight, legally, publicly. Are you ready?" Jinwoo's smile was weak but determined. "I'm dying anyway. Might as well die honest." "You're not dying, not on my watch." Eunice squeezed his hand once more. "I'm going to save your life, and then I'm going to help you figure out who the hell you want to be with it. Deal?" "Deal." Eunice stood in the pre-op observation room, watching two women on opposite sides of a glass partition. Sarah in the left bay, prepping for kidney donation. Minji in the right corridor, pacing like a caged predator. Between them, Jinwoo, being wheeled towards surgery. Dr. Kim approached Eunice. "Administrator Mark, Mrs. Han is threatening legal action to stop the procedure. She's demanding we verify Mrs. Yoon's consent wasn't coerced. She's claiming—" "Mrs. Han has no legal standing," Eunice interrupted, voice cold. "Park Jin-woo is 20 years old, mentally competent. He consented in writing. Sarah Yoon consented in writing. The transplant proceeds. If Mrs. Han continues interfering, have security remove her from the surgical wing." "But she's his mother." "So is Sarah Yoon, biologically, which makes them equal, and the patient's choice is final. Are we clear?" Dr. Kim nodded, retreating. Minji caught Eunice's eye through the glass, mouthed, "You'll regret this." Eunice didn't flinch. The surgery took 6 hours. Jinwoo woke slowly, fogged by anesthesia. Eunice sat beside his bed, monitoring vitals. His eyes found hers. "Did it work?" "Perfectly. Sarah's kidney is functioning. You're going to live." "Where is she?" "Recovery, 2 floors down, weak but stable." "And Minji?" "Waiting outside. She hasn't left since they wheeled you in." Jinwoo closed his eyes. "I need to see Sarah, before Minji, before anything else. I need to talk to my biological mother." Eunice hesitated, then nodded. "I'll arrange it." Eunice wheeled Jinwoo into Sarah's room personally. The older woman looked fragile, oxygen mask, IV drips, but her eyes brightened seeing him. "Jinwoo," Sarah whispered. "Mom," he said, testing the word. It felt foreign, right, terrifying. Eunice moved to leave, give them privacy. "Stay," both of them said simultaneously. She stayed, stood by the window, silent witness. "Thank you," Jinwoo said to Sarah, "for the kidney, for the truth, for everything." I should have fought for you 20 years ago, should have refused to give you up, should have— You gave me a life, Jinwoo interrupted. Minji raised me, you birthed me. Both of you are my mothers. I'm not choosing, I'm claiming both, if that's okay. Sarah sobbed, nodded. The door slammed open. Minji stood there, face cold as winter. How touching, the deathbed redemption, very cinematic. Mrs. Han, Eunice started. Don't. Minji walked in, focused on Jinwoo. You think you can have both? You think she gets to swoop in, donate an organ, and suddenly share 20 years of motherhood? It doesn't work that way. Then how does it work? Jinwoo asked quietly. You choose, her or me, biology or loyalty. You can't have both. Why not? Because I won't share you, Minji's voice cracked. I won't be demoted to also mother while she gets credit for saving your life. I raised you, I bled for you, I earned you. She gave birth, that's biology, not love. You're wrong, Sarah whispered. Giving him up was love, the hardest kind. Was it? Minji turned on her. Or was it cowardice? You couldn't handle the scandal of being a mistress with a bastard child, so you gave him away and called it sacrifice. I call it abandonment. Stop, Jinwoo said, voice stronger. Both of you. I'm not a prize. I'm a person, and I'm choosing both of you. Deal with it or leave, but I'm done being possessed. Silence crashed down.
Then the door opened again. Kang Si-won entered, holding a folder, smiling. Sorry to interrupt the family reunion, but we have a legal problem. Well, Jinwoo has a legal problem. I just inherited everything. Si-won dropped the folder on Jinwoo's bed. DNA results, publicly filed, proving Park Jin-woo isn't Chairman Park's biological heir, which means, per the company bylaws, the inheritance defaults to the next legitimate male relative, me. You bastard, Minji hissed. Technically, he's the bastard, Si-won corrected cheerfully. I'm legitimate, and as of 20 minutes ago, I'm the new chairman of Park Industries. Board voted. Unanimous. Well, except the one vote Jinwoo wasn't present to cast, since he was busy getting an organ from his real mommy. Jinwoo tried to sit up. Failed. You can't. I already did. But don't worry, cousin. I'm not cruel. I'm offering you a severance package, 5 billion won, and you get to keep the name if you want, or take hers. He gestured to Sarah. Yoon Jin-woo has a nice ring, very humble. Get out, Eunice said, voice lethal. Make me, administrator. Oh wait, you can't. I own this hospital now. Park Industries is the largest donor, which means I own you too. So here's what's going to happen. No, here's what's happening. I don't want the company. I never did. You can have it, Si-won. I don't want Park money. I don't want the name. I don't want any of it. Everyone stared. What do you want? Sarah asked softly. Jinwoo looked at Eunice. I want to know who I am without the dynasty, without the name, without the inheritance. Just me, whoever that is. And I want help figuring it out from the one person who's been honest with me from the beginning. Eunice's breath caught. Minji's face went white. You're choosing her? Over me? Over— I'm choosing myself, Jinwoo said. Finally. And yes, I want Eunice's help. She's the only one with no agenda except keeping me alive and honest. That's more than I can say for anyone else in this room. Si-won laughed. This is pathetic. You're giving up billions for what? Truth? Identity? Grow up, Jinwoo. Money is identity. Power is truth. Without them, you're nothing. Then I'll be nothing, Jinwoo said simply. Better than being a lie. Eunice's new office was smaller. She'd resigned from Seoul National University Hospital after Si-won made it impossible to work there, started a private medical consultancy instead, patients who needed advocacy, truth, protection. Her first long-term client, Yoon Jin-woo.
He'd taken Sarah's name, refused Park money except what was legally his as severance, started college, late but finally, studying literature, philosophy, things that mattered to him. Sarah died 3 months after the transplant, peacefully, held by her son. Minji still called, still tried to visit. Jinwoo let her, boundaries firmly in place. You're my mom, but you don't own me. She was learning to accept it. And Eunice? She sat across from Jinwoo in her office-turned-living room. They'd become something indefinable. Not quite lovers, not quite friends. Something deeper, forged in secrets and survival. I got the test results, Jinwoo said, handing her a folder. 6-month post-transplant, kidney function perfect. I'm going to live. I know, Eunice smiled. I told you, not on my watch. You owe me everything. You owe me nothing. You paid your mother's debt by surviving, by becoming yourself. That's all I wanted. Jinwoo reached across the desk, took her hand. What if I want more than that? What if I want you? Not as my administrator, not as my secret keeper, just as Eunice, the woman who saved my life by telling me the truth. Eunice's heart raced. That's complicated. Everything about us is complicated. Might as well make it worth it. She laughed, squeezed his hand. Okay, let's be complicated together. He leaned across the desk, kissed her. Soft, honest, real. Outside, Seoul glittered, a city of secrets and second chances. Inside, 2 people who'd been born into lies finally built something true. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the story. Comment where you're watching from and like. Thank you, and see you in the next story.